Yo, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video with the host Ken Kukin, and today we got another Destiny 2 Trials Training video. Now in this video we're going to talk about the fundamentals. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the match. I'm going to try and state some things that some of the things that I notice immediately, and then I'm just going to play the match. I'm going to try and call out maybe where we're succeeding or where we're failing as a team, and we'll go from there. I'm going to solo launch this. I'm going to see what happens before I make any kind of commentary, and then I'll try to keep most of the commentary to the end of the match when we can go back. You'll be able to go back in the video and say, oh, this is when this happened, this is when that happened. For all I know, we just played against a full team. So this is 6's. Let's see. Let me go see. Usually I wouldn't even inspect the enemy team or anything like that. All right, it's not a full team. I was wondering how hard I was going to have to work for my team to really make things happen here. So it is Radiant. What are up with these big maps? This is the third time I'm recording this video, and this is I played this map twice out of 3 times, and it's just the big maps. All right, Radiant Cliffs, big map. I got long range on, so I'm good there. KD wise, we have 2 negatives, 3 negatives, and a barely positive, and somewhat positive, and then me. Okay. As long as I hold a zone, it doesn't really matter where we need to be. C and A are good zones to hold because you can run back and forth between heavy. A and B are good to hold because you can spawn between the two. Don't ask me why I rifted. I just did. I have no game sound on. There we go. Nice. All right, he died. And yeah, let me turn my game sound up. All right, here we go. Let's see what I want to do. We got one zone. Finish him off. Good, he died. Gave me special ammo.
Yours.
All right, I'm gonna grab heavy.
Make them feel it.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta rely on my teammates to get the majority of the kills here. So I can kind of look away from A if the enemy gets on it, and I can come by and rocket it. How many Titans they got on their team? 2. All right, so we might get Titan shielded here and there. I'm gonna help this guy capture the zone.
On, a powerful statement.
Alright. That dude was weak enough for my teammates to finish. Let me bring this rocket on over to A.
Together, nothing can stop you.
Looks like the enemy's spawning back here. Important I don't miss my headshots here. Alright, all I did was just hold the enemy back long enough for my team to triple cap. I want to drop a well here and see if I can farm their spawn. Alright, let's try and get kills.
The flames have gone cold.
Yeah, I'm not doing very well getting the kills. The pressure's on, man. I know YouTube's watching. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to set up here. They're going to cap that zone, and I'm going to start picking them off. We'll hold on to that grenade. 7 seconds of... Oh, dang. That's unfortunate.
Zone advantage is yours.
There should be an enemy in front of me with heavy, yeah. Yep, there it is. He's weak. There we go. Looks like a lot of stuff's going down at B, so I'm gonna rush over to C. Can I get the triple? No. That dude's not gonna let me get it. Oh no! He missed his shots. And he was using an arc weapon, so.
Cut their momentum. Keep pushing.
All right, the enemy just all spawned, and they all spawned back there. Okay. Well, we got B still, so that's a plus. Can we get C? Can we get C?
You have the
Dang.
advantage. Press on.
Sounds like the Dawn Blaze right in front of me somewhere. I'm on the zone with him.
Zone advantage is yours. That shut them down. Two down. 5 minutes left. Sound tactics. Two down.
Dang. Not doing the bow justice, but we got a triple cap. I'm just focusing on one zone. We're gonna grab heavy. Maybe.
This is the moment Iron Lords
Yep.
live
Goodbye, you. Hello, Titan. Hello, you. Goodbye, you. Do 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 do.
Zone advantage is yours.
Oh, the Jotun.
Keep the pressure
Oh,
on.
we got a Sentinel coming to A. Can they stop him? Hello, you. Alright, alright. They stopped him. Nice. I'm gonna come back over there. He got Wither Hoarded.
That's it. One.
Ah, for a solo match, that, oh well. Dang.
No
Alright,
reward
let's
is
go
as
ahead and
low
assess
as
exactly,
going
well, Ken, what the hell did you do fundamentally, and how does that help me? Why are you playing 6's and calling this trials training? So if you've watched this far into the video, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go ahead and go to orbit, and we'll break down the match. So yeah, these big maps, man. Like, it's for Radiant Cliffs. So we'll just zero in on Radiant Cliffs. All right. So I don't go off topic, and the video doesn't become longer than it needs to be. All right. So what went through my mind when we loaded in the match? Well, aside from looking at the team in orbit, which I normally do not do in trials, I don't look at the enemy team. I don't look, at KDs. I none of that matters to me. What matters to me is when I launch the match and our feet are on the floor in the game. All that matters to me is how well our team is going to do versus their team. Now, I do try to pay attention, or I do encourage people to pay attention, even if I may miss it or not pay attention. Pay attention to when it's showing off the enemy teams and their weapons and loadouts. That's important. That helps. Oh, they're running chaperones. They're all sniping. They got, they're all behemoth titans, right? They're all shatter dive hunters, so on and so forth. That's going to kind of tell you how the enemy is probably going to play, or maybe what their most valuable asset is going to be as far as abilities or weapons, weapon ranges, where they're going to be successful at the mat, on the map, like the places of high success rates for their weapons and abilities of choice. So, Radiant Cliffs, Ken, what went through your mind fundamentally? Well, Radiant Cliffs, it's a big map, so I already wanted medium to long range weaponry. Sniper, if you're good with them. Bow's fine. Pulse rifle, scout rifle, sometimes auto rifle. Okay, cool. Now that I chose what kind of weapon I wanted for a primary, I then just shotgun is my go-to for secondary. I'm not, I have some fusions I can use. I'm not big on sniping, and if, it's easier for me to just bow anymore. I don't snipe enough to be consistent with my sniper, or I would. Sometimes I can put it on and it'll look like I'll have a hot match. Sometimes I'll put it on and it'll look like I've never played the game a day in my life. So I stick with what I know is going to be a lot better, especially if it's like a long-range map like Widow's Court. I will put on a scout rifle because my chances of missing are way less than with a sniper rifle. And I can peek shoot easier against like Lorentz drivers versus trying to get the charge. Even if I were to use Lorentz driver, right, high aim assist, linear fusion, I would probably take a scout rifle over the Lorentz driver in maps where there's a lot of angles I can peek, shoot, and do a lot of it, right? So, all right, now that we decided what weapons you wanted, it's 6's fundamentally. What was your next step? Well, the map told me there were 3 zones here because it's control. Which zones do I want to hold? Is there an advantage over one from 2 zones over any other combination? Not for that map, really. You could have held A and C and ran back and forth between heavy. You could have held A and B and spawned between both, but as you could see, sometimes they were spawn trapped there. Even though I wasn't killing them, if I was actually landing my shots, or someone else was landing my shots, or someone, there was you were me in that scenario and you weren't missing your shots, they're spawning up and dying immediately, so they're spawn trapped. However, they are spawning between 2 zones, so that can be good. It's a little bit easier to run back and forth between A and B as well. So if you hold A and B and you're not dying, but maybe your teammates are dying here and there, but you're not dying, only a couple of people might get spawn trapped, but not as many. So that's an option. Now, I would say B and C, probably not as good of zones to hold. That's probably the worst combination out of the other 2. And that's because when you spawn up, you spawn outside for C between both zones, but there's just a lot of stuff in your way. If you want to go to C, you have to go through one of those little curves with walls on either side. You can't just look at the zone, right? You can't look to the left or to the other side to B and see B. You have to either go through the cave and up top, or down low through the cave, or go through the middle and cut in. There's a lot of travel time. I would say those are the 2 zones that are the least likely to bring you success easier because of all the travel time between the 2 zones. If those are the 2 zones you decide you want to try and hold, and by the time, if you start losing one of those zones, there's a good chance you're getting spawn flipped anyway, right? And if you don't get spawn flipped, you're probably getting triple capped. So with that said, even though you can't see the flags necessarily A and B when you spawn up in the lane they're at. So if you spawn up and you're looking at A from that spawn where I was shooting arrows into, there's just a block in your way. You get a good grenade over there, right? Or you cut down the hall, you're there, a little bit shorter. But you can throw grenades from the spawn to kind of hopefully push an enemy off, or outright kill them, or make them scatter, or something. B, you kind of have to do a little bit of moving, but still not as much. And then A and C, there's no spawn between A and C. However, if you're just running back and forth and you get heavy and you're controlling heavy, there's a lot you can do with it, right? Heir apparents, no one can get A anymore because you just sit there with heir apparent the rest of the game. Anyone that touches it, you shoot them, right? So, all right. So you decided on, now that you know kind of what zones you can hold and what are good, what was your next play, Ken? My next fundamental play was to just pick a spot. Since I was solo and I solo queued, I didn't, there was no communication with my teammates. Hey, we need to grab this zone or that zone or the other zone. So I really just played mostly near A. When I died and I spawned up, I went back to A every single time, and I just fought over that area. So I took a big map and isolated myself to one area of fighting, which is what you do in Trials already. When you go, okay, we know overtime spawns in this area on this map in normal Trials. Let's go fight over there. And now you have your weapons ready for that type of fight. You're going to the area, and you've now just isolated a part of the map, right? So you're fighting in one area, which is kind of what Bungie's trying to. That's what last weekend was about. I understand why they wanted to do zones that spawn randomly or move around the map randomly, because they don't want the same part of the map to be used over and over, but they need better and bigger maps for that, not Wormhaven. That's definitely not the choice, right? So this is where they're trying to, I would say they're trying to cut corners and be lazy and not make new maps for the game. They're trying to use the assets they already have, which is fine, but it's not functional and enjoyable for the community. So I know they're trying to give us some effort, but it's like low effort, right? That's what I would say on that. But however, I understand that that's what they wanted to do. So I isolated myself in 6's to one part of the map that I just want to run. I could have ran B, and been over there. I could have held C if I wanted to, but I would have probably seen less action at C. So I decided to hold A where more action was going to be, or B would have been a hot place for action as well. And then what were my other fundamental choices? Well, there really wasn't nothing I needed to worry about other than the one time where I thought we were going to get triple capped and we didn't. My team wasn't sucking with kills, right? So they were doing good there. They weren't not capturing zones, so they were definitely doing the objective while I was just trying to defend. There was that one hunter that ran up and capped that zone at the end with me. He was probably going around and capping every zone he could touch, and we'll go take a look at the score screen right now. Let's see, zones captured. Oh man, see, zones captured are more important than the hunt and how many people you're getting or how many people you're killing. By far, the score is way more. The score, zones captured are way more important than the overall score. People can do their own math. Zones captured is probably the most important stat here, and it's a shame that it didn't make it to this match result. I believe sometimes it does if it's like an outstanding number. So, but I would venture to say that Hunter was probably running in a circle, just going back and forth from whatever zone we didn't have and capping it, which is good. But it looks like we have decent KDs. I didn't die too much. He's got a decent KD, and then we got some barely positives, and then on the other team they do have some negatives. So unfortunately for them, they did get the short end of the stick as far as KD went. And that's not to say that they had poor KDs. It's just to say that my team operated the map better. I definitely just isolated myself to one place and just ran it through. Now, some people, well, Ken, that's boring. I want to run around, so on and so forth. I understand that. But for those that are looking to excel and improve at a more efficient in a more efficient way, I would say, is again, you work on your fundamentals. It's not the flashiest. It's not the flashiest gameplay out there, and it may not make people say, wow, that's amazing. Throat's getting dry. However, when you start getting those wins, you will feel accomplished and satisfied because you're winning. Yeah, you're not doing backflips and kicking people in the back of the head as you do so to win, but you're winning. And again, that's what it comes down to. When it's championship game, it doesn't matter how you won. As long as you weren't cheating, you won. That's it. That's all you needed to do. In esports, it doesn't matter how flashy you were in your play in Street Fighter. As long as you won the match, you won the match. If you won it with nothing but low kicks the whole game, because that's all you could do, like me, then you won. That's it. That's all that matters. Now, doing it, they're called, style points are called style points for a reason. It's for style. It's not for efficiency, right? So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there. Again, work on your fundamentals. Let me know in the comment section below. Are there any, are there any of the fundamentals that you would like me to touch up on? Now, fundamentals go as far as how to play the map, how to identify where your team is lacking, which my team wasn't lacking anywhere. And I made sure I just held a zone as often as possible. Your build, the fundamentals of your build, what you can and can't do. Again, I have a basic build guide in my in the Trials Training playlist somewhere, or on my YouTube channel somewhere. I would definitely encourage you to watch that. It's still relevant to this day. I'm running a different build because I have a different build in mind, but normally I'd be running max mobility, max intellect, and everything else takes a back seat. Everything, especially resilience. This resilience wouldn't even be this high. This is because of armor alone. And I also wouldn't care about my recovery either. My recovery, as long as I'm winning the gunfight, I don't need to recover. And if I'm playing a warlock, I just need to drop a healing rift, right? So, and then your weapon, your loadout. So the fundamental, those are 3 fundamentals. Your character build, right? Your skill tree, your armor build, your stat build, your weapon loadout. That's that's fundamentally that fundamentally matters. And the map you play on and how to maximize efficiency on that map. Those are like 3 very key fundamental points. And the map usually dictates your weapons, right? All off the rip. And it also may dictate your subclass sometimes too. Some maps may not be as good for dawn blades as other because there's not a lot of open area to use a dawn blade, so you find yourself running down hallways and getting ice wall shatter dive, and that's a wrap. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. We will see you soon. Live stream on Twitch. I'm playing a lot of New World if you're interested in that game. I've been playing a lot of that recently, so link in the description below. You can catch me live today and see the half beard that looks horrendous. I can't wait for Tuesday so I can shave the rest of it. And yeah, that's all I got. See you at the lighthouse.